is Maya. For my complex problem, I am analyzing what solar panels are and whether or not they are worth it to help the environment. Next slide. First, in order to understand whether or not solar panels are worth it, we must first understand how they work. Solar panels themselves are made out of a total of 3 layers. The first layer is a positively charged silicone material. The second layer is something called a junction, which is where photovoltaic cells are placed. The third and final layer of a solar panel is a negatively charged silicone material. When I mention a silicone material, it's basically silicone that has been mixed with other chemicals to help them either be positively or negatively charged. What happens when photons or particles of light go through these different layers, they create an almost magnetic charge. The electrons from this charge is directed into the metal plates on the sides of the solar panels and then directed into the batteries to where they can be used for power. Next slide. This slide is focusing on whether solar panels are worth it on a local level. In an article titled Comparative Analysis of Solar Panels with Determination of Local Significance Levels of Criteria Using the MCDM Methods Resistant to the Rank Reversal Phenomenon. In this article, there are 2 methods used to help in the selection of solar panels, and they were analyzed to see if the panels would work well in local settings. The goal of solar panels is to provide renewable energy that has less emissions than traditional fossil fuel sources. Multiple renewable sources exist, but solar energy is more popular due to availability, and it's less harm to the environment, and it is a consistent source of energy. It was found that there is a decrease in solar panels, which is allowing them to become more popular, and that they are promised to help support the energy needs of both homes and companies. Next slide. There are several areas of concern in regards to production of solar panels. One such concern is how the photovoltaic panel layer is produced. In order to produce this layer, large amounts of water are needed, along with various other materials such as fossil fuels. Also, hydrofluoric acid and sodium hydroxide are used in solar panel production, and both are incredibly dangerous, requiring strict regulations during production for the safety of workers. The production of silicone for the panels are also known for being potentially hazardous. Particles from this material are known to cause silicosis in those that are exposed to it. Another issue is that due to panels containing cadmium and lead, solar panels cannot be put in landfills, and recycling costs more money. Currently, due to the cost of recycling, solar panels are usually dumped in landfills, which runs the risk of cadmium to be released. This chemical has the potential to be washed into soil and pollutes the surrounding area it touches. Mining is another issue due to the panels needing 19 rare minerals to be created. A final issue to the production of solar panels is the loss of habitat from creating solar farms. Next slide. In this article that I will be analyzing, the authors were focusing on solar panels and their probable impact to the future of Pakistan. The article is titled "Solar Panels Are Creating 50 Times More Waste Than Predicted," and much of it is toxic. Our race to the net zero is madness. It is basically an energy update article for the region. Within the book, they go over several different ways of how they fuel the energy needed in Pakistan. In this update, they speak about how good quality solar panels are now available worldwide and how they are becoming cheaper as time goes along. The authors did note that there could be some inconsistencies in dependability on solar use due to some regions getting more sun than others. Interesting enough, they discussed a hybrid form of energy grid where they would have certain regions focus on what renewable resources they had consistently. So like for example, they discussed using both solar energy and petroleum as fuel sources for their energy grid in a certain region. Next slide. In this slide, I will be going over the USA article on solar panels and the use of solar energy as a source of power. The article noted that solar panels do not produce air pollution or greenhouse gases. This article did note that solar panel farms and/or plants require large amounts of land and water to function. It is also noted that solar panels also contain hazardous fluids and can leak them when they get damaged or when they are improperly disposed of. It also went over regulations that have been put in place to properly dispose of non-functioning panels, but it did not go into detail. Next slide. Okay, so this slide is based on an article that I found discussing new designs for solar panels to improve their functionality and the overall experience with them. The new design would allow for them to absorb more sun while being thinner, lighter, and flexible. Well, more flexible. The article also noted that due to the thinness, there is less silicone that would have to be used, and also there would be a decrease of how much water it would be needed to produce these new panels. Also, the article mentioned a breakthrough of using ammonia to produce clean hydrogen where the only waste product would be water. As of right now, the current production of the photovoltaic panel layer is to liquefy hydrogen by itself. This new way would make it more safer and less waste would be produced. Basically, the new system would create less damaging effects to the environment than the current way panels are being created. On a final note, these panels and the way they are going to be designed in this new way will also allow them to be more flexible, which means they will be able to be put on more homes that beforehand wouldn't have been able to put panels on their roofs. Next slide. On the final information slide is a comprehensive list of the pros and cons of using solar panels and solar energy to replace traditional fossil fuel sources. The pros so far is that there will be no air pollution or greenhouse gas when using these. The nations would become independent of fossil fuels, and due to the new design, panels are going to be more flexible and can be placed on a wider range of homes. And finally, the most important part, the reason why we're doing all of this is solar power is renewable. The cons, unfortunately, is that there would be a loss of habitats to make way for solar farms and plants. There is a production of highly dangerous waste from the building of these solar panels. Currently, solar panels and their productions require a lot of water. And solar panels also have dangerous chemicals that require certain forms of disposal that could cost the owner some money when they don't work anymore. And finally, from what I gathered from my research is that not everyone has a clear plan on how to safely dispose of these panels and the chemicals within them. Next slide. Now on this slide is my works cited page. I hope that this presentation was informative, and I hope that this presentation can help anybody figuring out if solar panels are right for them and their lifestyle. Thank you so much for staying with me this long and for hearing all the research that I did. I hope that whatever you wanted to learn from clicking on this video, you were able to find it and be more informed not only about solar panels, but also the potential future for the energy resource that nations are thinking